Hello and welcome back. Today's video is going to be an introduction / review of the Eloquence skincare line. Now I sent these about 5 weeks ago, maybe 6, but I was testing them out for a good 4.5 weeks so I can give you really good opinion and thorough usage test. Now before we start, my skin type is relatively normal, quite normal. I have slightly oily T-zone. It's gotten less over the years. I have some dry patches around my eyes, and my eyelids would have been normally oily, but before starting this they were painfully dry. I'm not sure what was causing it, but they were incredibly dry to the point that they were cracking slightly. Not ideal, especially for a makeup enthusiast who likes to put all the eyeshadow on her eyes. So the skincare Eloquence, I'll just give you a wee tiny bit of blurb before we get started. So it's an organic skincare line. Now we all know that doesn't necessarily mean it's everything organic, but there are organic ingredients included, and the main ingredient that they rave about is the Sasha Incha oil. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and that's in all their products, and it's a rich source of omega-3 fatty acid, and it's good for your skin. Now there are no artificial perfumes, colours or harsh chemicals, which I did go through the ingredients list to confirm and have a good look to see if there was anything nasty in there, and there isn't. So I was really pleased about that, which means it's quite suitable for all types of skin, including sensitive skin. But with anything, apply common sense. If something's irritating your face, you don't use it. So it's got strong antioxidant properties, rich source of omega-3 as I mentioned. It improves moisture retention, soothes dry, irritated skin, and is excellent for mature skin. Now quite a few of the products have hyaluronic acid in it, and I did a video quite a wee while ago now about my experience with hyaluronic acid, specifically hydroluron, and a few of the moisturizers and serums that contained it, and I had really bad reactions. So I was a wee bit dubious, but I wanted to try some hyaluronic acid again to see if it improved or did anything to my skin. Now the hyaluronic acid wasn't massively high on the ingredients list, but it was definitely on there, so maybe the fact that it's only on there and not the main ingredient helped ease my skin into it again. So I'll start from the start. First up we have the Purifying Facial Cleanser. This comes out like a gel consistency, is quite iridescent, it's white. I usually use about a pump, maybe half a pump, generally a pump because I don't bother faffing. They all have 20 ml except for the eye gel, which has 15 ml, and they all have these lovely little pumps. So I pump out about a pump onto wet hands, you know, damp hands. Sometimes I'll have a damp face, but as long as I have damp hands I'm okay. I don't lather it up much on my hands because it can be a wee bit faffy for some reason to get it to lather up on my hands, but it lathers up fine on my face. It's just quite a light foam, it's not that big heavy soapy foam, so it's quite good as a nice cleanser. I was using this morning and night for a good 2 weeks of this just to see how it settled, and it didn't cause any irritation. I would however recommend using this as your second cleanse. It's no good for taking off makeup. You want to use a micellar solution or a balm cleanser or something like that to take your makeup off, and then you can use this afterwards. I have started to use this in the mornings only. I find it nice and refreshing in the morning and nice and awakening. I do quite enjoy the product, but I always felt like I had to have that second cleanse just to give my skin a really good clean in the evenings. So just to let you know. Enjoyed the scent of this. There was no irritation. It didn't cause any dryness on my skin. My skin definitely felt clean afterwards, but not dry. So that was really, really good. So I was impressed with this. It's not my favourite out of the line, but I definitely was impressed with this. This retails for $7.99 I believe. Yeah, it retails for $7.99. So that's not too bad at all. It's sort of more on the higher budget range, high street kind of price. But you do get a wee bit less than normal with only the 20 ml. Normally you get a 30 ml to 50 ml in these products, but yeah, it's not too bad. I have already finished it because I was using it that much. But if you're using it once a day, it'll obviously last longer. But yes, it only lasted me a good 4.5 weeks, and for 2 of those weeks, morning and night time. Next up we have the Firm and Tone Serum. Now, I didn't give you the wee bit of blurb about this. This has specifically got the ink oil, which we talked about, cucumber and coconut extract, and it's helped to deeply cleanse pores without drying the skin, and helps protect skin barrier, etc. I think it did a fine job, enjoyed it. Next we have the Firm and Tone Serum, and this is an advanced, fast absorbing, long-term hydrating skin moisturizer with illuminating the skin and giving it a flawless appearance. This has hyaluronic acid in it and is responsible for skin plump, smooth, supple. It's got peptides and vitamin A to give your skin tone, texture, balance, and reveal a lighter, tighter, younger looking skin. I really enjoyed the serum. Again, this is sort of white looking with an iridescent sheen to it. It's not as thick as the cleanser, but it's not runny or anything like that. It's just that nice serum-y texture. That's really descriptive. Again, I use this morning and night for a long time. I kind of still do the odd time, but generally I've been using it more so in the mornings recently. I do enjoy it. I enjoy the scent. I enjoy the plumpness it gives to my skin. It does help to just smooth things over a wee bit, and I always look a bit healthier when I use it in the mornings. This is more expensive. This retails for $19.99. And I'm not sure, I haven't finished it off just yet. I would use maybe a pump and a half of this to get it all over my face. I guess I have a big face, but I use about a pump and a half of this all over. Sometimes if I'm just dabbing it on, I'll do a pump, but it needs a pump and a half, I think. But it's still going strong, so I'm pleased about that. Would I recommend it? I think so. If you enjoyed it, reminded me of the Bare Minerals serum. If you've tried it, this reminded me of that, and if you enjoy that, this could be an alternative if you're looking for something different. I don't know if I'd rush out to purchase this again when it runs out, because I have so many other oils that I adore. I've no other good daytime serums, however, so it may be one that I pick up again. I don't know, I'm kind of torn. I have so much skincare I have to get through. But it would definitely be one I would consider for future purchasing. I didn't notice any massive difference in my skin tone, on the texture of my skin or anything like that. Well, no, that's a lie. My skin hasn't had any massive breakouts since I've been using this, so no irritation. But I still have a fair bit of pigmentation and discoloration. It's slowly going. It has been 4.5 weeks. Generally you give these things 6 weeks before you notice anything massively different. But I guess I haven't had any breakouts, so that's all by itself is a good sign for the skincare line. And no, but there's no massive change in the pigmentation that I have around my mouth, which would be from spots, scarring and that kind of carry on. But I do like it. It seems to just make my skin look a bit more awake and healthy and that kind of good stuff. Now, my favourite product from the line, it's the Firming and Moisturizing Eye Gel, which helps smooth fine lines and creases. So, quick blurb is to reduce bags, dark circles, and the eyes look less fatigued, fights skin slackening and improves the eye contour while increasing eye tone or skin tone and firmness. Didn't notice a massive difference in regards to the bags under my eyes or any dark circles as such. I don't suffer with that too badly. I definitely have a certain amount of translucent skin around my eyes there, so that will always be there, but that's where concealer comes in. But that hasn't changed. What did change was that my eyes were no longer really dry on the lid. There was no cracking, splitting, any of that. Within about a week that was gone. I had used other eye creams and I had to stop because they stung my skin a wee bit because they were cracked. Not so much with this, not at all with this. In fact, there was no stinging, there was none of that. So I was really pleased about that, and it just, my eyes, I don't have the dryness around my eyes, the dry patches around my eyes, I don't have them anymore, so it's really good for that. And just generally, just making the skin look nice around my eyes, it's been really nice. I haven't noticed any difference in the fine lines, anything like that. It's just generally speaking, the skin around my eyes is less dry and is looking a bit more plump. So that all by itself is really good, and no irritation. So really good considering the state of my eyelids. It's fantastic. It's really good. And I was traveling about, so I had different water and all this kind of jazz, which speaks to the skincare line by itself, because I was traveling about. I should have had multiple breakouts and I didn't, so that's a really good sign. I will most likely purchase this in future. Like I said, I have a fair amount of skincare to get through, but I loved this eye gel, and it's lovely in the mornings. It has got, you know, the applicator, but I tend to take it on my finger and dab it in that way. Now, the last facial skincare product It's the Protect and Repair 24-hour cream collagen boosting intensive moisturizer. Now this is 24-hour cream for during the day to restore balance to the skin's natural moisture and to protect your skin from UVA, UVB. It also has a hyaluronic acid to help plump the skin and smooth and supple and all this kind of good stuff, and then use it at night to help hydrate and replenish. Now I didn't really see anything about it having sunscreen or anything in it like that, but it has a hyaluronic acid again, which I was nervous about. I did find the consistency of this a wee bit thicker of itself, so I needed almost 2 pumps just to get enough all over my face. It absorbed really nicely, all the products absorbed really nicely, but I did require more of this to make sure I got all of my face. And this is the first product to get used up. There's a surprise. Again, used it morning and night for the first couple of weeks, no irritation. I did notice though, I found it a wee bit heavy of itself for daytime, definitely, and I did notice some clogged pores just along here where I would normally get them, just along my jawline a wee bit. Now that could be because I was using a foaming cleanser by itself without using a face cloth afterwards, which would have obviously helped my skin keep it clean and stuff. But also I just found this a wee bit heavy of itself. I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of the moisturizer. It was nice, but I wouldn't rush out to repurchase it. This also retails for $19.99. That's a complete lie. This retails for $14.99, and the eye gel, which I mentioned a minute ago, retails for $19.99. So that's something to bear in mind. This product, forgive the state of it, this is a nourishing treatment oil. So renew, repair, revitalize skin, hair and nails. I love this. It's a nice oil. I realise I've not done any close-ups of this, but again with the pump, I tend to use this mostly at night and get a bit out. Let me see. Oh, I don't know if you can see, but it's mostly clear, but it has obviously the orange of it being an oil. This absorbs really nicely. I've been using it a lot on my hands of a night time before I go to bed, and then also onto my elbows. I have also been using it on my dry legs, and I really enjoyed it. No irritation, it sinks in really nicely. I wouldn't consider it really deep hydration as such. You know, I prefer a thick cream that I can moisturise and know that it's going to be there for a while, continuing to sink in. This sinks in relatively quickly, and I almost sometimes need to go in a second time because my hands are so very dry to add a bit more, and the same with my elbows. My elbows and hands get very, very dry, and my legs, my lower calves, they get really dry. But it definitely is a very nice product. All the products smell really nice and fresh. They're not sickly. They are a wee bit sweet of themselves. They kind of remind me of a nice version of the Soap and Glory, you know, the lime scented one, because I find that really strong and I find it quite overpowering. This just has a hint of it, so it's really nice, and it's a wee bit sweet and a wee bit fruity and fresh of itself. The scent of the products aren't overpowering, aren't in your face, they don't last, which is great, because sometimes you get fragrance products and they're just too much. That treatment oil retails for $29.99, and there's 50 ml in it, so a fair amount. Would I repurchase when it runs out? I'd consider it. I very much would. I'm very much into my body oils, but I have a stash of about 6 waiting to be used, which is wonderful. I love having products to test out, but I need to make sure I hold on to the products that I love so that I do purchase them in future, like that eye gel. I've still got loads of the eye gel left, so I'm happy with that. The 2 products that I finished up were the, was it the serum? No, the cleanser and the moisturizer. The serum is actually right there. So not the cleanser and the moisturizer, the serum and the moisturizer are the 2 that I used up because I used those the most, I suppose. But that is it. Would I rush out and buy these products? I would, as I said, eye gel, yes, liked it a lot. Serum, yes, it is an interesting product. I did enjoy it. I would compare it to the Bare Minerals serum. I can't think of the name of that off the top of my head. Moisturizer, no. Cleanser, if it was a bit bigger, I would, because then I would class it more as a high street kind of cleanser, and they come in larger volumes. So if it was a 30 ml, I would definitely consider it. But that is it. I would definitely recommend checking out the range, especially if you've sensitive skin or if you've had issues with hyaluronic acid in the past. Something to consider. I think my skin has been looking relatively healthy and in good shape of late, so I'm really pleased about that, and I do think that a lot of that is down to this skincare line. I've already started to tweak my skincare a bit and change up my night routine because I just needed more of a cleanse of a night time, and thankfully it hasn't been to the detriment of my skin, so that's really good. That's it. If you have any questions, please let me know down below. There will of course be a blog post. You can either just go and check out my blog in case the link isn't there, or I'll have been really good and put the link in below. I seem to be a bit dire at that at the minute. I'm really sorry. Life is hectic, as those of you that follow the vlog no doubtedly know. But it'll all return back to normal in the next 2 weeks. Be back to normal. Woohoo! But that's it. I'm gonna go on. Thanks a million for watching. Ask all the questions down below. Please like, please subscribe, tell your friends to subscribe. We'll have a party, and you can check out my previous video in the end card. Thanks a million for watching. See you in the next one. Bye! About the Brighton blogger meetup. I went to it quite recently and met up with some fabulous bloggers. I will link